Attraction does not begin when you approach her. It begins long before that in how you live, how you think, how you carry yourself when no one is watching. Most men misunderstand this. They believe attraction is built through clever lines, constant attention, or relentless pursuit. But pursuit signals hunger, and hunger signals lack. Stoicism teaches something far more powerful. Self-mastery is magnetic. When you govern your emotions, your habits, and your direction in life, you radiate stability. Stability is rare. In a world where most people react impulsively, overshare emotionally, and seek constant validation, the man who remains composed stands apart immediately. He does not chase reactions. He does not perform for approval. He moves with intention. Women are highly attuned to emotional consistency. They notice how you respond to inconvenience, how you handle disagreement, how you carry yourself in uncertainty. If small disruptions shake you, attraction weakens. If you remain grounded, attraction strengthens. Stoicism builds this grounded presence from the inside out. Self-mastery begins with discipline. Not loud discipline, not performative hustle, but quiet order. Waking when you say you will. Keeping promises. Training your body. Developing your craft. Improving your financial and mental position. These actions are not done to impress her. They are done because you value yourself, and paradoxically, that is what makes them impressive. A man who chases validation is easy to read. His compliments feel excessive. His attention feels unlimited. His schedule bends instantly. This overextension communicates that his time has little value. Stoicism corrects this imbalance. You offer attention deliberately, not compulsively. You invest where interest is mutual, not where you hope it might become so. Self-mastery also means emotional restraint. When you feel attraction, you don't spill it immediately. When you feel anxiety, you don't project it outward. You observe your emotions before expressing them. This does not make you distant, it makes you intentional. Expression becomes controlled rather than reactive. Another element of self-mastery is independence of outcome. You enjoy her presence, but you do not need it. You appreciate connection, but you do not collapse without it. This subtle difference changes everything. When she senses that your life is already full, that she is an addition, not a solution, attraction deepens. Direction plays a major role here. A man moving toward something, a goal, a mission, a standard, carries different energy than a man drifting. Purpose creates gravity. When you speak about your work or ambitions with calm clarity, it signals structure. Structure creates safety, and safety allows attraction to grow without pressure. Self-mastery also protects you from overcorrecting. If she tests you playfully, you don't overreact. If she delays responding, you don't panic. If she disagrees, you don't argue to dominate. You remain steady. That steadiness communicates internal security, and internal security is deeply attractive. There is also a silent confidence that comes from controlling your impulses. You don't need to brag. You don't need to prove status. Your restraint speaks for you. In many cases, what you don't do creates more attraction than what you do. Not interrupting, not oversharing, not forcing connection. Men often believe they must become someone else to attract a woman. Stoicism argues the opposite. You refine who you already are. You eliminate weakness of character. You strengthen discipline. You align your behavior with your values. Attraction then becomes a byproduct, not a performance. When you focus on self-mastery, you remove desperation from the interaction. You are not seeking completion. You are sharing space. That subtle shift in posture changes how she experiences you. You feel solid, reliable, calm. And the truth is simple. A man who commands himself does not need to chase anyone. He becomes the man worth choosing. Attention is one of the most valuable currencies you possess, yet most men spend it recklessly. They give it instantly, excessively, and without discernment. They believe that more messages, more compliments, and more availability will increase attraction. In reality, over-availability erodes mystery, lowers perceived value, and shifts the dynamic out of balance. Stoicism teaches restraint, and restraint creates value. Scarcity is not about playing games. It is about understanding human psychology. People value what is not easily accessible. When your time feels unlimited, it feels inexpensive. When your attention must be earned through reciprocity and genuine interest, it gains weight. A Stoic man understands that his focus is intentional, not automatic. Over-availability often stems from fear. Fear of losing interest, fear of competition, fear of silence. That fear drives impulsive communication. You double text. You respond instantly every time. You rearrange your schedule at the slightest hint of opportunity. These actions communicate one subtle message. You have nothing more important than her, And when that message is sensed, attraction quietly declines. It means balance. You engage fully when you are present, but you do not hover. You enjoy conversation, but you allow space afterward. You show interest, but you do not overwhelm. This rhythm creates anticipation. Anticipation fuels desire. Stoicism helps you build this rhythm by anchoring your focus elsewhere, on your work, your training, your goals, your growth. When your life is structured and purposeful, attention is naturally limited. You are not pretending to be busy. You are busy building something meaningful. This authenticity is what makes scarcity powerful rather than manipulative. Another key element is responsiveness. Quick responses are not inherently weak, but predictability can reduce excitement. When she knows you are always immediately available, there is no emotional tension. Stoic restraint introduces subtle unpredictability, not to confuse but to prevent dependency. You respond when appropriate, not when anxious. Scarcity also protects your emotional balance. When you overinvest attention early, you create imbalance. You think about her constantly. You check your phone repeatedly. You wait for validation. Stoicism interrupts this pattern by reminding you that your inner stability must not depend on external feedback. When your attention is measured, your emotions remain grounded. There is also power in silence. Silence creates space for her to think about you. When you are not constantly filling the conversation, she begins to initiate. She begins to wonder. Curiosity builds attachment more effectively, hand pressure ever could. Many men mistake intensity for attraction. They try to accelerate connection through constant engagement, but emotional bonds grow through rhythm, closeness followed by space, interest followed by pause. Scarcity creates that rhythm naturally. Without it, attraction burns fast and fades faster. Scarcity also communicates self-respect. When you protect your time, you signal that it has value. When you do not cancel commitments to accommodate her last-minute changes, you demonstrate structure. Structure builds respect, and respect sustains attraction. It's important to understand that scarcity is not indifference. If you genuinely lose interest, that is different. Scarcity is controlled presence. You are warm but not overexposed, interested but not attached, engaged but not consumed. When she senses that your world does not revolve around her, she begins to move toward you rather than away from you. Emotional investment grows when there is room for it. Constant availability suffocates that growth. Stoicism reminds you that your time is finite. Your energy is limited. Your attention is sacred. When you treat it that way, others do too. When you give it freely without discretion, it loses impact. Scarcity also filters quality. When your attention is not easily given, only those who value it remain consistent. This prevents you from chasing interest that was never solid to begin with. The man who controls his attention controls the dynamic, not through force, not through manipulation, but through discipline. He understands that attraction is strengthened by space, not pressure, and when your attention becomes intentional rather than impulsive, desire grows naturally without you ever having to chase it. Emotional control is where most men either rise into quiet strength or collapse into reactive weakness. Attraction does not fade because a man lacks feelings. It fades because he lacks mastery over them. Stoicism teaches that emotions are natural, but being ruled by them is optional. If you want to win a woman's heart, you must first win authority over your own inner world. When you become easily triggered by slow replies, by social media activity, by perceived competition, you reveal insecurity. You may not say it directly, but your tone changes. Your questions become interrogations. Your energy shifts from calm to tense. Women are highly attuned to emotional shifts. They feel instability long before it is spoken, and instability weakens attraction. The Stoic man does not suppress emotion. He regulates it. There is a difference. Suppression is pretending not to feel. Regulation is feeling fully without losing composure. If she cancels plans, you do not overreact. If she disagrees, you do not escalate. If she tests your boundaries, you respond with calm clarity rather than defensiveness. Emotional control builds safety, and safety is one of the deepest foundations of attraction. A woman wants to feel that the man she is investing in can handle pressure without crumbling. If small uncertainties cause you to spiral, how will you handle larger challenges in life? Your reactions today signal your capacity tomorrow. Jealousy is one of the clearest examples. Many men try to hide jealousy, but it leaks through passive-aggressive comments or controlling behavior. Stoicism reframes jealousy as information rather than emergency. If something bothers you, you observe it first. You ask yourself whether it is based on fact or fear. You choose your response instead of being dragged by impulse. This restraint is powerful. When you remain composed in situations where other men would react emotionally, you stand out. Calmness under pressure communicates confidence. It says, I am secure enough not to panic. Another crucial element is not seeking constant reassurance. If you repeatedly ask where you stand, if you need frequent validation of her feelings, you subtly place emotional responsibility on her. That shifts the balance. Emotional control means you are stable, regardless of temporary fluctuations in her mood or attention. Disagreements are inevitable. In those moments, your emotional discipline becomes even more important. Raising your voice, becoming sarcastic, or withdrawing dramatically are signs of lost control. A Stoic response is measured. You listen. You respond thoughtfully. You refuse to escalate unnecessarily. This maturity deepens respect, and respect sustains attraction long-term. Emotional control also means managing excitement. Many men sabotage connection not through anger but through overeagerness. When you become overly expressive too quickly, declaring intense feelings early, planning too far ahead, imagining commitment before foundation, you create imbalance. Stoicism encourages patience. Let emotions unfold naturally instead of forcing them forward. There is also strength in accepting uncertainty. You can only control whether someone chooses you. You can only control how you show up. When you internalize this truth, you stop trying to manipulate outcomes. You focus on your character instead of chasing validation. That detachment paradoxically makes you more attractive because it removes pressure. A woman feels safest with a man who does not need to control her to feel secure. Control is often a disguise for fear. Emotional regulation dissolves that fear. When you are steady, you do not need to monitor constantly. You trust yourself first. This steadiness creates polarity. In moments when emotions run high, your calm presence becomes grounded. Instead of matching chaos with chaos, you introduce balance. That balance is magnetic. Stoicism also teaches reflection. After emotional moments, you analyze your response. Did you act from ego or clarity? Did you react or choose? This self-correction strengthens discipline over time. Emotional control is not built in a single conversation. It is forged through repeated restraint. Remember, attraction is deeply tied to how a person feels around you. If being around you feels like walking on emotional landmines, connection weakens. If being around you feels stable, calm, and safe, connection deepens. You do not need to be emotionless to win a woman's heart. You need to be centered. Passion with control, interest with stability, strength with calmness. And when your emotions no longer control your behavior, your presence becomes powerful enough to make her feel secure, choosing you. Purpose is the backbone of masculine attraction. Without it, everything else feels unstable. You can practice confidence, control your emotions, and manage your attention, but if your life lacks direction, the connection will eventually feel hollow. A Stoic man understands that his mission comes first, not because he does not value love, but because love thrives best in a life that is already structured and meaningful. When a man makes a woman the center of his world too quickly, he unintentionally places pressure on her. She becomes his main source of excitement, motivation, and validation. That weight can feel overwhelming. But when a man is already driven by a larger purpose, his career, his craft, his physical discipline, his long-term vision, he approaches love from abundance rather than need. Purpose creates depth. It gives you stories, challenges, and growth experiences. T makes your conversations richer because you are engaged with life beyond the relationship. When you speak about your goals with quiet determination, it signals direction. Direction is attractive because it represents stability and leadership. Many men lose themselves once they start pursuing someone. They adjust their schedules entirely around her availability. They abandon routines. They sacrifice progress for attention. At first, this may feel romantic. Over time, it communicates that your foundation is fragile. Stoicism teaches that external relationships should complement your path, not replace it. A man with purpose moves differently. He does not cancel important commitments casually. He does not drop long-term goals for temporary pleasure. He integrates the relationship into his life instead of restructuring his life around the relationship. This balance creates respect. Purpose also strengthens patience. When your days are filled with meaningful work, you are less likely to obsess over messages or overanalyze interactions. Your mind is occupied with building something tangible. That productivity naturally creates emotional independence, which enhances attraction. There is something deeply compelling about a man who is building his body, his business, his discipline, his knowledge. Growth generates energy. That energy is felt. It makes you dynamic instead of stagnant. It is important to understand that purpose does not need to be grand or glamorous. It simply needs to be genuine. It could be mastering a skill, advancing in your profession, creating something of value, or improving your physical and mental strength. What matters is commitment, consistency, direction. When a woman sees that you are progressing regardless of circumstances, she feels secure investing in you. Purpose signals long-term potential. It shows that you are not drifting through life waiting for someone to complete you. You are already complete in motion. Stoicism reminds us that we control our actions, not outcomes. Your purpose is something within your control. Whether she chooses you or not, your mission continues. This mindset protects you from desperation. You approach love as an addition to your life, not as its foundation. To your life, not as its foundation. Scarcity increases value, not artificially, but organically. You are not unavailable because you are playing games. You are unavailable because you are building. Purpose also strengthens your boundaries. If a situation threatens your long-term vision, you recognize it early. You do not sacrifice integrity for short-term validation. That integrity builds self-respect, and self-respect is essential for sustained attraction. A relationship built on two individuals who both have direction is stronger than one built on dependency. When both people are moving forward in dependency, they choose each other freely rather than cling to each other out of fear. If you want her to fall in love, show her a man who is going somewhere. Show her consistency in your habits. Show her discipline in your routine. Show her ambition without arrogance. Let her see that your life has momentum, because when your life has direction, your presence carries weight. Your words carry intention. Your time carries value. And when she realizes that being with you means walking alongside a man who is building something meaningful, attraction transforms into admiration. Mystery is not about deception. It is about depth. In the early stages of attraction, many men feel compelled to reveal everything about themselves immediately. They share their entire history, their deepest wounds, their long-term plans, and every detail of their daily routine in an effort to accelerate closeness. But connection is not built through information overload. It is built through gradual discovery. Stoicism teaches restraint, and restraint creates intrigue. When you reveal too much too soon, you remove the element of curiosity. Curiosity is powerful. It invites investment. It encourages questions. It creates a sense of unfolding. If she feels like she already knows everything within the first few interactions, the emotional journey flattens. But when your layers are revealed over time, attraction grows with each discovery. Mystery begins with self-control. You do not feel the need to fill every silence. You do not overshare personal struggles before trust has been established. You do not narrate your entire day constantly. Instead, you speak with intention. You share selectively. You allow conversations to breathe. Silence is often underestimated. Many men fear it because they equate silence with awkwardness. In reality, silence can create tension, not uncomfortable tension, but emotional tension. It gives space for eye contact, for reflection, for anticipation. When you are comfortable in silence, you communicate confidence. You show that you do not need constant noise to feel secure. Mystery also means maintaining your individuality. You do not immediately adapt all your preferences to match hers. You do not abandon your interests to mirror her tastes. You remain grounded in who you are. When she sees that you have your own world, your own opinions, your own rhythm, she becomes curious about that world. Predictability can weaken attraction when it becomes excessive. If she can anticipate every reaction, every message, every move, there is no excitement. Stoicism does not encourage unpredictability for manipulation, but it encourages independence of thought. You respond authentically, not automatically. That authenticity keeps interactions dynamic. Another aspect of mystery is emotional pacing. You do not declare intense feelings prematurely. You allow her to wonder about the depth of your interest while still feeling your presence. You express attraction clearly but not excessively. You avoid dramatic proclamations before the foundation is solid. This restraint makes your eventual vulnerability more meaningful. Social presence matters as well. You do not constantly display your entire life on social media for validation. You maintain a degree of privacy. When parts of your life are not publicly broadcasted, it creates intrigue. She sees glimpses rather than the entire picture. Those glimpses invite imagination. Mystery also protects you from overexposure. When you talk excessively about your achievements, it can come across as seeking approval. But when you let your actions speak quietly, confidence becomes implied rather than announced. There is strength in subtlety. A Stoic man understands that not every thought needs to be expressed. Not every emotion needs to be explained immediately. Discernment in communication adds depth to your presence. Depth creates fascination. It is important to clarify that mystery is not emotional unavailability. Coldness pushes people away. Warmth combined with restraint draws them closer. You engage, you laugh, you connect, but you maintain an inner core that is not easily penetrated. Without time and trust. Gradual revelation builds anticipation. Each conversation uncovers something new. Each meeting adds another layer. This process transforms attraction into emotional investment. She begins to look forward to learning more, to experiencing more, to being closer to that core. When you remain centered and composed, when you avoid the urge to overshare or over-explain, you create space for her imagination to work in your favor. Imagination often intensifies feelings more than facts ever could. Mystery keeps the dynamic alive because it ensures that discovery never truly ends. Even in deeper stages of connection, there are always layers left to explore. And when you master the art of revealing yourself slowly and intentionally, she does not just feel attraction. She feels compelled to know more. Detachment is the final discipline that ties everything together. Without it, confidence turns into neediness, emotional control collapses under pressure, purpose becomes performative, and mystery turns into strategy instead of authenticity. Stoic detachment is not indifference. It is the calm acceptance that you cannot control another person's feelings, only your own actions. Most men struggle here. They want certainty. They want guarantees. They want reassurance that their effort will produce a specific outcome. But attraction does not respond well to pressure. The moment you try to secure her affection through force, persuasion, or overcompensation, you communicate fear of loss, and fear weakens presence. Detachment begins with understanding control. You control your behavior, your discipline, your standards, your words. You do not control her timing, her emotions, her decisions, or her past experiences. When you internalize this truth, you stop trying to manipulate outcomes. You focus instead on becoming the kind of man who can walk away with dignity if necessary. Walking away is powerful not because it is dramatic, but because it is calm. If she withdraws, you do not chase endlessly. If she becomes inconsistent, you do not beg for clarity. You communicate once, clearly and respectfully, and then you observe. If the effort is not reciprocated, you accept reality instead of fighting it. This acceptance is rare. Many men stay attached to potential rather than behavior. They imagine what the connection could become and ignore what it currently is. Stoicism forces you to evaluate reality honestly. Does she invest? Does she respect your time? Does she respond with consistency? If not, detachment protects your self-respect. Detachment also reduces anxiety. When you are overly attached to the outcome, every message feels significant. Every delay feels threatening. Every small shift feels catastrophic. But when you remind yourself that your life continues regardless of her choice, your nervous system settles. You act from clarity instead of desperation. There is strength in wanting someone without needing them. Neediness creates imbalance. It makes you tolerate behavior you would otherwise reject. It makes you compromise standards. It makes you overextend emotionally. Detachment restores balance by reminding you that attraction must be mutual to be meaningful. This mindset shifts your energy completely. Instead of trying to convince her to like you, you observe whether she aligns with your values. Instead of seeking validation, you evaluate compatibility. You move from pursuit to selection. That subtle shift changes everything. Detachment also enhances authenticity. When you are not afraid of losing her, you speak honestly. You set boundaries without hesitation. You express preferences without filtering excessively. Ironically, this freedom often increases attraction because it communicates strength. Fear of loss is often rooted in scarcity thinking. The belief that this opportunity is rare and irreplaceable. Stoicism challenges that belief. There are many potential partners in the world. What is rare is a man who maintains composure under uncertainty. When you embody that composure, you differentiate yourself. Detachment does not mean you do not care. It means your care does not compromise your core. You can invest emotionally while still maintaining independence. You can enjoy connection without clinging to it. Even in deeper stages of a relationship, detachment remains valuable. It prevents possessiveness. It prevents control. It allows love to breathe. Healthy attachment grows from choice, not fear. If she chooses you, it is because she wants to, not because you pressured her. If she walks away, you remain intact. Your purpose continues. Your discipline continues. Your growth continues. That is true power. the ability to desire deeply while remaining internally stable regardless of outcome. And when she senses that your happiness is not dependent on her decision, she feels the freedom to move toward you willingly.